Good morning, Taste Buds. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. It's the holiday based on food. Thanksgiving is right around the fall harvest corner, and it's time for me to give you some recipes that may just become a family tradition of yours. So get a pencil and paper out, or hit the record button on your DVR, because here comes Thanksgiving to Dan's SoFlo Taste. How fun is that? Happy Thanksgiving all. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Welcome to SoFlo Taste and welcome to the Goya Kitchen here at JA World in Coconut Creek. And I know Thanksgiving is still a bit over the river and through the woods away, but for the only holiday that has sharing food with family and friends is at the center of the celebration, I wanted to get you off to an early start. So I thought it would be fun to get to going on the busiest day on the culinary calendar. So let's get cooking. It's all about sides today. I really wanted to teach you all the things you could do around the turkey, because let's face it, turkey is turkey and it's delicious, but for today I'm really focusing on everything that goes next to the bird. So Alison Roman, one of my favorite cookbook writers for New York Times, has come up with a couple of recipes that I'm using today, and I'm swooning. It's so beautiful. So let's make her stuffing real quick. It takes a lot of butter, and I actually cut the butter in half because I don't think it's necessary to use all that butter. So we're going to take that butter, half of it, as well as a really nice amount of olive oil, and cook a couple of my favorite things. One is leeks. You need to rinse them really well, get all that dirt out, cut them down, cut them nice and small. And then celery. I have to have celery in a stuffing. To me, it's not stuffing if it doesn't have celery in my dressing, because it adds freshness, it adds earthiness. To me, it's just not dressing without the celery. A little bit of red crushed chili flake. And finally, some sliced, not minced garlic. If you want to mince it, go for it. I'm not watching, but this is nice thinly sliced garlic. Get your heat to about a medium. You don't want it any higher than that. You don't want too much color on this at all. You really want everything to soften just beautifully in all this delicious fat. Now while this is cooking, let me just show you real quickly about the bread. So Alison uses sourdough on this, and instead of cutting it perfectly, I love when stuffing or dressing bread is just ripped. So these are just ripped pieces of the bread that have just sat out drying for a couple of days. If you haven't thought as much ahead of time as we have, you can go ahead and dry this in a very low oven. I would say about 180 degrees for about 45 minutes, but you don't want any color. But look how dry. I mean, this is just really, it's really dry, right? And that's, the drier the bread, the better the stuffing, believe it or not. And then of course you can use whatever bread you like, but like I said, this one is sourdough. All right, so again, we're letting everything get nice and soft. Once the leek and the celery are nice and soft, go ahead and add some nice dry white wine. For this, I would really try to use something that I would drink. So don't use cooking wine on this kind of stuff. This is a special Thanksgiving meal. I would really use something that you're opening for maybe Thanksgiving, or I always keep a bottle of wine that can be either downed or downed, if you know what I mean. I just think it's a good idea to always have drinkable wine, nothing crazy expensive, but something that you would drink to use for cooking. And I use it. If it stays in your fridge, you can use it for a couple weeks. I'm letting all of that wine reduce down. Let me show you the ingredients we have. We've got some eggs that we're just gonna mix together. A little bit of chicken stock over here. Now, if this is a vegetarian Thanksgiving, then you can go ahead and use vegetable broth without a problem. We also have beautiful herbs to mix into this. There's chives, chopped parsley, and marjoram. If you can't find marjoram, oregano is perfectly fine in replace to marjoram. Marjoram is just one of those very savory herbs. It goes beautifully with chicken and turkeys and things like that. We're going to go ahead and pour this. The wine has reduced, so we're going to pour the veggies right into the bread. Add all the egg. Add all the herb. And then the chicken broth. So you really want to take a couple minutes to stir this, to let it soak. Let it soak as much as you can. I would really let this go for a good 5 to 10 minutes as you're stirring, making sure that the bread is just really soaking up all the goodness before you bake it. And then go ahead and take a baking dish like this one and go ahead and rub it with butter all the way around, because you don't want things to stick to this. And after you rub it with butter, we're going to go ahead and pour in our dressing, and we're going to loosely cover it with a little bit of foil. And we've got one going in the oven right now. We're going to bake it covered for about 25 minutes, and then we're going to uncover it and get beautifully golden and cook it for another 20 to 25. So come right back. We will have some more fun with sides for Thanksgiving. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait to get to eating. My favorite part. Celebrate the food of South Florida at SoFloTaste.com. It's the place to ask me a question or make a comment, especially good comments. Again, SoFloTaste.com.
Come back to the Goya Kitchen at J.A. World, Michelle, and the food. This is SoFlo Taste.
Just a reminder to order your fresh Thanksgiving turkey and your sides from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Call 954-983-6831. That's 954-983-6831 soon to place an order with the good folks at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Now back to the food. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste as I give you some of my favorite recipes for Thanksgiving. But first, it was in 1789, after the United States became an independent country, Congress recommended one day of Thanksgiving every year for the whole nation to celebrate. It took until 1941 for Thanksgiving to gain legal holiday status. And we're glad they did, right guys? Yeah! So moving on, we are making some delicious crushed potatoes. Not mashed potatoes, not puree, but crushed potatoes, which you need this gorgeous little creamer potato to do that with. They're named creamer potatoes for a reason. They're beautifully creamy and they really need very little. So these have already been cooked in water nice and slowly. They don't boil like crazy because you don't want them to explode and get waterlogged, right? So all you have to do when they're tender is, this is kind of a little trick when you're cooking a lot of them. This is a spider, by the way, which I'm using to make sure that I don't have any excess water. So we're going to put them between two cookie sheets. At the same time, right here, I have a little bit of cream with some smashed up raw garlic, reducing, to go into the smashed creamers in just a moment. All right, so shake them until they're all kind of even. Use the second cookie sheet to just kind of squash. I think I need to be heavier to do this. And I'm just going to smash it with a pan because that's not working for me. And this actually works much, much better. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this into this bowl. All right, next we're going to take this cream reduction, which has gone down about 2/3 of the way. Go ahead and pour that right in. We're going to add a nice amount of salt, ground black pepper, about half of the amount of chopped dill and chives, butter. As you can see, this is a very light recipe. And sour cream. All the best parts of eating potatoes are here. And let's go ahead and mix all this together. What you want to do is kind of just using a spoon, just mash and allow your creamers to do their job. And then we're going to go ahead and let me show you how these look when they're done. They're just, oh, they're so good. We're going to lift them out of this goodness. And make sure you've seasoned them well enough. If not, it's just a shame because this is just so delicious. You don't want to pass this up. If you want to get crazy fancy, you can top it with caviar, by the way. But I don't think it's needed. Not that I ever pass up caviar, but you know. All right, there we go. And then let's top it with more dill, more chive. Ah, yum. So this is crazy good. You want to try that? Come right back for more, of course, tea day prep. But before I go, all my recipes are available on the SoFlo Shows webpage. Just point your phone camera at this quick response code. It will take you directly to the SoFlo's page. You'll also see the QRC on our ingredients lists throughout the show. Come right back. You got to check out that stuffing. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste and our show all about Thanksgiving, and of course its sides. So I think our dressing is ready. Just beautiful. So this is our dressing with leeks and celery, chicken stock, a little bit of butter and all kinds of herbs. This came from New York Times and I just thought it was beautiful. And then the author Alison Roman just tops everything with celery leaves, which makes it even happier for me. And then of course, you know I didn't teach you all yet how to make turkey, but I've taught you so many times. And look how beautiful this one is that we actually cooked here this morning. And remember, my friends at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market want me to tell you that they are now in full swing of taking orders for Thanksgiving, including fresh turkeys and sides. You can call your order in now, pick it up when the time comes. Curbside Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market is at 4191 State Road 7 in Hollywood, of course. Go to DelawareChicken.com or call them at 954-983-6831. Place an order, tell them I sent you, and tell them I love them. Deadlines for Thanksgiving is November 20th. So hurry, call in your order. It's a great way to start a wonderful, wonderful dinner. All right, so moving on. Let's talk dessert, shall we? I am pretty much known for my bread puddings, but I've decided to go in another direction. We are gonna make a croissant pumpkin bread pudding today. So I am just warming up my my cream. Actually, it's half and half. So it's half cream, half milk with a little bit of vanilla paste, or you can use a fresh vanilla bean scraped. So that's all warming through to really get the vanilla soaked through the cream mixture and all that flavor in there. We're gonna whisk some yolks and eggs together here and add some granulated sugar to the mix. Then we're going to slowly pour in our half and half. It is warm, so you want to go carefully. You don't want to curdle your eggs. I should say scramble them. All right, so little by little I'll pour that in. And this is called tempering, to bring the temperature up of the egg mixture using the warmth of the half and half mixture. Lovely. All right. One thing to do to make sure that you haven't cooked any eggs is to strain that mixture through any type of a strainer, a nice fine mesh one. Yes. Okay. You can remove that. So for the croissant, like I told you, these are croissants and there are about 8 cups of them. And what we did was we just let them sit out after we cut them, and we dried them out for like 2 days just on my kitchen counter. So they're really dry, which is just like we talked about for the dressing. It's really good for bread pudding. You always want your bread to be dry and a little bit stale and older. So now we're going to take a whisk and we're going to add a little bit of nutmeg. Because it does have pumpkin in it, it really needs that nutmeg spice. Yum. And then of course some cinnamon, and combine that. And then finally just a can of pumpkin puree. Simply put, this has no additives. This is just clean pumpkin puree. Does it sound bad if I say it's the same one that I use to feed my dogs? But that's really what this is. Organic, clean pumpkin puree. So just make sure this mixture really comes together. There's no lumps. Beautiful. All right, then very carefully we're going to pour that over the croissant. Now what I would do here is I would just let this be for as long as you can handle it, as long as your patience allows you to. So you really want it to come to room temperature, and you have a couple of ways you can go with this. You can either go ahead and cover it and bake it, but to be honest with you, the best bread puddings, the ones that we make at the restaurants, the one I make at home, the longer they sit in your refrigerator, soaking up all this goodness, the better they will be. Let's say you let this go to room temperature. Cover it with plastic wrap, put it into your refrigerator, and leave it there for either 4 up to 48 hours. The longer the better. It soaks up every little bit of this goodness, and you know that your bread will be totally soaked with liquid, and it will begin to fall down into the custard. So the longer the better, but it's really up to you. Once you're ready to cook your bread pudding, I would remove it from your refrigerator and then go ahead and sprinkle some toasted pecans in and around, and then go ahead and cover this up, and let's see how this looks. So I've cooked it for about an hour plus, and then we uncovered it so it could get a lot of nice caramelization and color on the top. So I'm going to show you the one that I baked. It's in the bottom oven. I'm very excited to pull it out. So come right back. Let's see how beautifully this caramelized, and let's enjoy our gorgeous Thanksgiving dinner together. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste and our Thanksgiving show. We are impatiently awaiting our pumpkin croissant pudding to come out of the oven. Oh, this smells so good. All right. And there we have it. Look at how beautiful this is. The pecans have toasted even more, even though they're already toasted, and everything just looks So good. This is such a happy table. Yay! Thanksgiving can be a bit overwhelming, but if you can get a head start on it, by first knowing what you'll serve and then know how to get it ready in advance, it can be so much easier and you can enjoy the day with family and friends. Next week, guess what? Keep going with Thanksgiving prep. I've got more recipes that you may not know, but are good enough to break into your family favorites. So, be here next week for simple, delicious alternatives on SoFlo Taste. Now let's check in with our friend Hunter Franke from SoFlo Health. Morning, Hunter. What are y'all doing tomorrow afternoon at 12:30?
Hey, Michelle. Tomorrow on SoFlo Health, we're on the beach, and that's because there may be health benefits by walking, running, standing on the Earth's natural surface. So I'm testing the theory. It's definitely not an excuse just to go to the beach.
This former professional soccer player runs me through his fitness program, not for the faint of heart. Healthy bowls are all the rage, and we'll taste this plant-based creation. Plus, Dr. Sam shows us how to stand and walk with proper posture. It could save your back a lot of grief.
So there you have it. Come join us on the beach for some more SoFlo Health tomorrow at 12:30 right here on Local 10.
Thank you, Hunter. See you then. Happy Thanksgiving. So, Taste Buds, thanks for spending another Saturday morning with me. I love sharing our time. So please, be smart, be safe, and be vaccinated. And I'll see y'all next week. Goodbye, and good taste. Happy Thanksgiving. It's turkey time.